If you have an H-type visa, you can come to the US after getting a job offer. H visas are temporary work permits for professionals and non-professionals and are divided into several general categories. One of them is the US H1B1 visa. This visa is a temporary work visa for professionals who are citizens of Chile and Singapore. Hi, this is Max from the Visa Library. In this video, I will give you information about the US H1B1 visa, including requirements, the visa extension procedure, and how to apply. Okay, no time to waste. Subscribe to our channel to support us and get a surprise at the end of this video. We publish 3 new videos every week, so be sure to subscribe. Let's go. What is the H1B1 visa? Under this visa, Chile and Singapore citizens are qualified to apply for employment in the US. People who live in these countries but do not have their passports from them cannot apply for this visa. The US government issues 6,800 visas to citizens of the 2 countries annually. Of this amount, 1,400 visas are issued to Chilean citizens and 5,400 visas are for the citizens of Singapore. Now, what are the eligibility conditions of an H1B1 visa? Number 1, you must be a Singaporean or Chilean citizen. Number 2, you must have a post-secondary degree that includes at least 40 years of a study in your area of expertise. Please remember that even if you do not have a post-secondary degree, you may qualify for equivalent job experience. Number 3, you're not permitted to be self-employed or work as an independent contractor. Number 4, because your work in the United States must be temporary, you must establish non-immigrant intent. Okay, what are the differences between H1B and H1B1 visas? This visa is very similar to H1B visa, but there are minor differences between them. For example, the primary distinction between H1B and H1B1 visas is the foreign national's intention to visit the United States. The H1B visa allows the applicants to aim for dual intent, which means that the foreign national will come to work temporarily in a professional job while also planning to move to the United States. However, the H1B1 visa allows applicants to establish that they do not intend to migrate to the US. As a result, while in H1B status, H1B1 holders may not seek permanent residence status in the US. Unlike H1B visa, the USCIS does not have to approve a petition for non-immigrant worker. You can apply for an H1B1 visa at the US Embassy in your home country by submitting the required non-immigrant visa application, a comprehensive job offer letter, a labor condition application or LCA verified by the Department of Labor, and the necessary supporting papers. Employers may find it advantageous to consider submitting H1B1 applications for qualified individuals due to the restricted supply of H1B visas. However, filing H1B1 visa petitions does not restrict Chilean and Singaporean residents from applying for normal H1B visa petitions. Lastly, also H1B1 visa holders are not permitted to change an H1B1 visa to green cards. What are the benefits of the US H1B1 visa? Number 1, several entries. Number 2, there is no need to file a previous petition with the USCIS. Number 3, it is simple to obtain because the application process is relatively quick and it may be secured in a week or less following an interview with the US consulates. What are the limitations of the US H1B1 visa? Let's see. Number one, the US H1B1 visa category includes numerical restrictions based on the H1B maximum of 65,000. There are 1,400 H1B1 visa numbers available for Chileans, whereas 5,400 are designated for Singaporeans. Number two, validity. It is only valid for 1 year. Number three, dual purpose doctrinates. Certain protections given to H1B and L1 visa holders under dual purpose are not accessible to H1B1 visa holders. Number four, cannot apply for permanent residency. While in H1B1 status, holders are not permitted to seek permanent residency status in the US. This does not preclude Singaporeans and Chileans from filing for ordinary H1B status. Okay, how to apply for the US H1B visa? Let's see. The application for the H1B1 visa is very similar to the H1B visa. First, the employer must go through a few procedures and then the employee must provide evidence. First, let's talk about the steps the employer must take. Step 1. The employer must give a job offer to a Chilean or Singaporean citizen. The job position must have a specific criteria in terms of experience and education that the applicant must meet. Step 2. The employer must receive the Labor Condition Application LCA certification, which is issued by the Department of Labor. This certificate confirms that, number one, the wage will be paid precisely equivalent to US employees. Number two, the employer will be notified of any changes in the documents. Number three, the work environment complies with US labor laws. Number four, government will be informed where the work is completed. Number five, the government will have information about the company, including the number of employees, job descriptions, and salaries. LCA is an essential document that you and your employer must obtain before any other steps are taken. If you come to the US and start working without an approved certificate, your work will be unlawful. Step 3. The employer must pay some visa fees. The H1B1 visa cost is similar to the H1B visa except for the fraud prevention and detection fees. Since premium processing is not defined for this visa, there will be no fees for that. Step 4. The employer must provide documents showing that you are a Chilean or Singaporean citizen. Tax information and payroll to the state employees should be provided. Now, let's talk about the steps that an employer takes. After the DOL or Department of Labor approves this LCA certification, you can start the application procedure. You must fulfill some criteria and hand in the documents for the visa application process. Let's see. Number 1. You must demonstrate your proficiencies through diplomas, certificates, and work experience letters. Number 2, you are not allowed to work as a freelancer or an independent contractor. Number 3, you must provide proof such as property holdings to demonstrate your intentions of returning to your home country. Contact the US Embassy for more information on what documents to provide. Number 4, you must submit a letter explaining your job offer and job description in the US. In addition, you must pay $190 as your visa fee and also pay the visa issuance fee. The cost of issuing a visa varies depending on the country where you are applying. After each payment, a receipt is given that you must keep as proof. Payment receipts must be submitted to the US Embassy as a part of your documents. After the employer completes the sponsorship process, you must initiate the application process. You must submit your application through the US Embassy in Chile or Singapore. Since the visa is only defined for citizens of Chile and Singapore, it is complicated to apply from any other countries. Let's see. Step 1. Complete the form DS-160. This form is available online. Go ahead and complete it. Step 2. Schedule your interview. Contact the US Embassy and do it as early as possible. Step 3. Collect your documents. Let's look at them. Number 1. A valid passport. Number 2, a letter containing your job offer and description of your tasks. Number 3, the DOL issued LCA certification. Number 4, your photo that has been taken within the last 6 months. Number 5, the confirmation page of the DS-160 form. You can send your documents by mail or present them in person. If you submit them in person, you must bring the originals, but if you send them through email, you can attach their copies. Step 4. Attend the interview. During the interview, you will be asked about the information and documents you've submitted. The interviewer also tries to examine if you intend to return to your home country or not. Okay, here's a question. How long is the US H1B1 visa processing time? The processing time fluctuates from country to country, but it takes an average of 4 to 6 months to be processed for an H1B1 visa. Seasonal fluctuations and the workload of the embassy are essential factors. You can go to the official website of the US Department of State to find out the latest status of your application by entering information such as your application ID, your location, and case number. The website informs you whether your request is pending or in progress. Here's another question. How long is the US H1B1 visa valid? This visa is valid for 12 to 18 months. Another question. How to renew the H1B1 visa? You can then extend it indefinitely for 1 year. There are 2 options to renew your visa. Number 1, the employer extends the visa 4 to 6 months before the expiration of the visa. Number 2, you apply for a new visa at an embassy outside the US. Remember that you can renew your visa as long as you are qualified to work and prove that you do not intend to reside permanently in the US. Your employer must provide the LCA document and you must submit your pay stubs. Can you transfer the US H1B1 visa? A H1B1 transfer means that you want to change your employer or you want to be transferred to another visa. If you want to change your employer, the new employer will need to apply for an LCA certificate from DOL and receive Form I-797A. You are not permitted to start your new job until this stage is completed. Another option is to go to an embassy outside of the US and get another visa stamp with the name of a new employer and a new LCA number. If you want to transfer to another visa, you must go through the same steps that you have done to obtain a visa for the first time. For example, if you want to get an H1B visa, you will have to get LCA certification and USCIS petition approval from your employer and then follow other instructions. You can apply to change your visa type but are never allowed to apply for a green card. If you do it, you may be deported. So, if you have such an intention, you must first change your visa type to another visa such as H1B and then apply for a green card. Okay, here's another question. Can you bring your dependents to the US under H1B1 visa? While you're working under the H1B visa, your spouse and children under 21 can accompany you. They must obtain an H4 visa that allows them to enroll in academic studies but not work. If your spouse wants to apply for an H4 visa, a marriage certificate must be provided. If your spouse has nationality other than Chilean or Singaporean citizenship, it is best to apply together for a visa. The reason for this is that if your spouse applies for the H4 visa after you, they might be required to go to their home country and apply from the US Embassy there. Okay, another question. How to access healthcare under H1B1 visa? Your length of stay plays a role in the type of your health insurance. In general, you have two options: short-term insurance and long-term insurance. It is also recommended that your dependents with H4 visas purchase health insurance before entering the US because the cost of health insurance services in the US is quite high. Do you need a petition approval from your US employer? No. H1B1 visas are non-immigrant visas that do not require a USCIS petition to be approved. Can you apply for a green card under the US H1B1 status? Because the US H1B1 visa does not allow the idea of dual purpose, you cannot renew your H1B1 status once you have commenced the permanent residence procedure. However, during this time, you can apply for a status change to a standard H1B visa. Can you change employers while you are on H1B1 visa? Yes. However, the H1B1 visa is employer specific. Therefore, you cannot change employer until you have a change of employer petition approved by the USCIS or you obtain a new visa at a US consulate outside of the US. Okay? Can your parents accompany you to the US? No. Only spouses and children of the H1B1 visa holder can accompany them to the US in H4 status. Your parents and other family members are not eligible to get H4 visas, but may apply for visitor visas. Can you change your status to H1B1 if you are already in the US? If you are in the US in a non-immigrant visa category that allows a change of a status, then you may apply for a change of a status to H1B1 status. Is USCIS premium processing available for change of a status or extensions of H1B1 visas? Yes. The USCIS premium processing is available for the H1B1 extensions or change of a status filed with the USCIS for foreign nationals in the US. The estimated processing time at USCIS for a premium processing request is 15 days. Well, there you have it. Now you can go and start your H1B1 visa application after you subscribe to our channel and like the video. Now, I have a surprise for you. I have put the link of our article in the description. You can go to our website and download the free cheat sheet I've prepared for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. You can also follow our social media accounts. Links are in the description. Thank you all for watching.